Adapt IT and July 28 SQM webinar talking to SMPs in the Zimbabwe market. I'll start with our introductions. We have representations from ICAZ with us, Caseware and July 28. My name is Jacqueline Hussein. I'm the managing consultant of July 28. We've got Edna Gemu representing ICAZ. She'll be present through the webinar and may be able to take questions at the end of the session. And we have Fezeka Mpofu, who is the team leader for Africa for small to medium practice automation out of Caseware Adapt IT in South Africa. For those that may not be aware, ICAZ partnered Caseware Adapt IT together with July 28 to bring a discounted solution for automation of small to medium practices in Zimbabwe. You will be able to enjoy as much as a 40% discount if you are an ICAZ member for software that allows you to automate the audit process, manage your practice through SQM and compilations, including training and setup. We'd encourage all participants to spread the word and also talk to the respective partners in Zimbabwe or our partners in South Africa to find how we can automate their firms as we go into this fourth industrial revolution that we find ourselves. I'm going to take you through the outline of the event. We've done our introductions. I'm going to talk to overview of the audit process, and we're also going to talk about SQM and how it will serve the SQM space in terms of our product as Caseware. We'll have a demo from my esteemed colleague, Phuti. He will take us through the actual software demonstration and how, over and above having an automated audit process, the SQM solution can manage your practice. We'll have a Q&A session at the end leading to a close. I'm going to take you to the next step, which is the overview of the audit process, automation of the audit process. As Caseware, we've been automating practices that are done by accountants for over 30 years now, with solutions created by accountants for accountants, whether these are accountants in practice or accountants in corporate. What brings us here today is discussions around small to medium practices and how Caseware, as your partner, has managed to come up with solutions that are ISA compliant, IFRS compliant, and overly guided by IFAC's expectations in terms of meeting regulatory standards on the quality of assurance services. With our product, Audit International, we are able to take your auditing process to a new level of success as it's taken off a data-driven approach. We are able to automate your audit process to allow you to deliver high-quality audits with seamless integration through the Audit International tool, which once again, I reiterate, is ISA compliant and will make any audit review engagements a lot easier for you. It comes with some amazing features, and I'll mention some of them now. It has intelligent content that simplifies the audit process and saves you time. It has a guided workflow. Audit International is intuitive. It's designed to anticipate your requirements and tailor worksheets, checklists, and letters. It's got embedded guidance based on today's leading standards. You will get updates of standards automatically within our templates. And in particular, we work with ISA, which is issued by IAASB, and most importantly, allowing you to remain compliant. We know small to medium practices have a challenge in investing into technical departments, and it comes with a lot of financial burden on small practices. you will find that our solutions come out of the box, but packaged to a global standard, allowing you to invest significantly less in what you would then need to do if you had a manual process of creating audit work programs, planning files, technical managers, the resources that are quite intensive. Our tools make sure that this becomes not a significant burden on the practice from a financial perspective, including from a perspective of staying up to date. When teams are working, regardless of where they are located, we also bring in real-time collaboration. From the most senior individual on the audit to the most junior, there is collaboration in the same engagement. And that allows the current work structure we now have. People can work from anywhere on the globe and still be able to work on the same assignment. The ability to also communicate with our clients through our cloud, sharing information with us to allow us to carry out our assurance engagement has become much, much simpler without having teams congregate in one location. Built-in analytics and diagnostics to provide a comprehensive audit picture. This is one of our best features within the audit solutions we provide. Data has become very key in us also drawing conclusions on our assurance engagements. You'll find that our tools do bring this to your practices and improve quality of how you understand the information before you. The benefits that are very key are going to be your ability to streamline your workflows, your audit strategy documents come pre-populated, and your client's requirements can be tailored with the respective responses to questions. Security, your information is very secure, safeguarded, and I think client confidentiality matters in our profession. This is also taking care of it. Your efficiencies become second to none in terms of you able to centralize your audit work with engagement, able to sign off, able to track your trial balance and your key areas of audit in one click. This is very important given that the old structure of manual files where you need to go to each section. The transition between sections is very smooth. You eliminate data inconsistencies as well, where you find there's information that has a lot of errors. You're able to pick it up in a snapshot, and most importantly, the tool does come with red flags where things are not aligned to how you're working. The ability to audit with confidence becomes quite key. Even the juniors are guided well. It also creates a self-learning platform in itself where the workflow is logical. And in that sense, you'll find that it creates a teaching setup to our juniors as they go up the hierarchy within the firms. And you avoid unnecessary time pressures because you're able to deliver audits faster because of the built-in automation, the analytics, the client collaboration, and the review tools that you have that allow you to manage errors and delays. Our software, from an audit perspective, also comes with other tools that allow improved working, which is your connector, allows you the collaboration with other documents like spreadsheets, Excel, and Word, as well as the cloud platform, which then allows us to work from different locations as teams, including the sharing of information. That would be the overview of the audit process. Allows you to start from client acceptance to your audit overall strategy, your planning, right through to your completion and reporting of audits. Its ability to import your trial balance and then even go through to compilations for clients that you are able to prepare compilations for. The tool allows that, whether you're going to prepare IPSAS or IFRS compilations, at the end of your audit, it's one of our key areas where our compliance is just not IFRS, but IPSAS. And we are aware as a country, we are now on an IPSAS roadmap, and we've now got our public sector actually starting to compile IPSAS financial statements. So as an audit practice, the ability to audit these public sector entities, especially if you're subcontracted by our Auditor General, you'll find this valuable from an audit right through to a compilation process where only you're permitted. There are rules which we're aware of when it comes to the compilation for public sectors. However, it also then means within the Caseware family, if you get a strictly compilation assignment, you also have that capability within our tools. That's the overall overview of the automation of the audit process. I'm going to take you to SQM and how it will serve our SMP space in Zimbabwe. So as we are aware, SQM is the next step after ISQC, which has now become redundant. SQM really speaks to quality management for assurance and related services, and it's very key and has become very topical because of the views that are taken by our regulator and even ICAZ as an institute. And for ICAZ to partner with us is also them recognizing the need to have their member practices automated and, most importantly, compliant, setting up a very well-regulated and quality service that we bring to our country. This risk-based quality management tool allows us to be very modernized firms. The risk-based approach simply means the technology can come into play to play an essential role. Caseware SQM is robust, it's intuitive, and it's a cloud-based system of quality management designed for firms like your firms. We are progressive as a country. We've produced quality chartered accountants globally, and that speaks to how we as a country value the profession. And you'll find that the quality requirement now doesn't sit with the partners or just the leadership of the firm. Even team members and part of the staff that sits in a firm are expected to now have that risk-based quality management as a mindset. And we've gone and automated the SQM process to allow this throughout engagements as your teams work, as the leadership guides the teams. And you'll find within it key features, which is the built-in risk assessment process with guidance and checklists. This simply means over and above your knowledge of the firm, you do not always have to have it on memory because it will be right there within your workspace. Phuti is going to show us very shortly when we get into the actual demo. The ability to have risk thresholds, your risk assessment guidance as part of the whole SQM management strategy. The risk libraries come inherent with our tool, whether you are going to look at HR, reliability of information, communication. We're literally talking all facets that affect anything that speaks to quality. Policy and procedure responses. We work with a globally approved standard of experts in this field when it comes to quality management and assurance. So you'll find the SQM facilitates compliance to the global and localized quality management standards. So your ISQM, your SQMS, your CSQMS, all the quality management platforms you can almost think about that are relevant to us have been considered in coming through with the risk libraries that we share. Automated notifications delivered in real time. Yes, these are key features of the tool. You get notified of staff activities and tasks instantaneously through email notification on all changes and updates, and you receive reminders about periodic tasks as per the frequency defined during the design phase. So when we're talking about your quality management, it's robust. The ability to have real-time information matters because quality management is not at the end of a process. It's before, during, and after a process. So it matters that you're up to speed with what happens, and we are aware of this. And there's nothing better than having our SQM tool within your audit process, allowing you to be able to have a full oversight of your engagements as your teams are working at their respective places or clients or wherever they're working from, but you will have a good eye on how the quality management process is rolling out. You have controlled access. You are able to put in respective access levels across the teams, even with Audit International. This is a feature that allows your partner right through to the clerk to be in the spaces that they only should be, with obviously your reviewers or your engagement partners able to have access to much more detail, just as the managers and the supervisors. So I'll summarize the benefits of automating your SQM within our Audit International tool. You'll find that you comply with confidence as it assists in maintaining international quality management standards and reducing quality risks and stress related to regulatory inspections. This tool is one tool that our regulators would love, I believe. I know they may not have gone on and say, look, pick an automated tool, but from where I'm sitting, they are fully aware that there are negative implications on firms that are not managing their quality correctly. And from where I'm sitting, I'd advocate that anyone who's keen on ensuring that their processes are up to standard consider the investment into automating their audit. Built-in trust. Yes, you're about to improve your firm's reputation and contribute towards enhancing the public trust in our profession. Remember, you are going to be up to date with the respective standards on a global scale. You'll be able to conduct audits as if you are sitting in the so-called developed nations, because these are the tools that they're using. Boost efficiency and productivity. Your intuitive quality management app is set up to clear processes and responses that are documented and consistently applied. So the ability to have an intuitive feature will always be second to none, because it takes away a lot of micromanaging and teaching. People learn, and it becomes instinctive for people to pick up on the features. You're able to drive growth of your practice. That's another key feature because of the efficiencies. You turn around more work faster. You can take on larger assignments. And most importantly, consistency matters. You're able to deliver consistent audits that allow you to pass your inspections, and also just to have quality feedback to your clients. And it's important that this remains key for any survival of a practice's reputation and growth in our respective market. I'm going to end there. Just to point out, we will have a Q&A session at the end. And with this overview of how it's going to benefit us and serve us, the SQM is going to benefit us and serve us in the SMP space, I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of my colleague Phuti to take you through an actual SQM demo and how you would benefit from it as a user. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jackie. Just as a formal introduction, my name is Phuti Lekulwane. I have spoken to some of you. To some of you, I am new. I am responsible for taking care of the Zimbabwe market together with July28, where we are working together to assist accounting and audit practices in Zimbabwe to automate their processes, to be compliant, and also to be competitive on a global scale. I will be now taking you through the SQM demo, just to give you brief information on top of what Jackie has given you around SQM. So with regards to SQM, the IAASB declared last year that everyone should be on SQM by the 15th of December 2022. So those who aren't, they are a little behind, but worry not, Caseware is here for your rescue. So SQM is basically tailored not only for big practices, but also for smaller practices who are doing smaller engagements. So it is suitable for scalable assurance engagements. It is there to ensure that you follow the correct procedures whenever you are doing any engagements, whenever you face any risks, how you deal with those risks, and how you move forward from those risks. With SQM, unlike the ISQC one, this is a system of continuous monitoring. So it continuously ensures that all staff members are compliant to the standards, or all engagements that are produced are compliant to the relevant standards. And just like with Caseware, for those who have used Caseware, with ISQM, we could say you set it up once, and from there you'll now continuously use it for the entire practice. It's not something where you'll be setting it up for each individual client, but it would be something you'll be setting up for your practice. So now as we move on to the app itself, so here we have 5 features. On my side, you are only able to see 4. Number 5 wasn't activated on my machine specifically, but we have design, we have operate overview, monitor, and we have evaluate, which is what is missing on my side. So under design, this is where we'll be now setting up our objectives, our risks, our policies, our procedures. So before we start, you need to assign someone responsibility. As you can see under responsibilities, you will need to assign a person who will be ultimately responsible for designing or developing your SQM. This person will get the ultimate responsible and operational responsible. For the purpose of this demo, choose myself for this. Just give me 1 second. Phuti Lekulwane. Let me just remove this sign off just so I can show everyone. So when you assign a person, as you can see, I've assigned myself, and now I have to accept. The roles that I am accepting is ultimate responsible and operational responsible. So it tells you, as Jackie said, this is an intuitive cloud-based solution which lies on our Caseware cloud, and it is, we could say, an easy, for those who have used it, an easy module that has step-by-step prompts, or steps which you follow when you are now designing your SQM. So each and every stage is followed by another one. I'll take you through all of them. So here I will accept. And then once I have accepted, you can see under Lekolwane, here PL, this shows you that I have accepted. So this also leaves an audit trail of who has done what and when did they do it. So you won't be left with a who did this, who signed off this, but you'll know who exactly did it, as there is an audit trail. So I'm just taking you through all of this. As you can see, there are steps under responsibilities. Once this person who's responsible has accepted, they will now move over to setting up, understanding objects. So these are step-by-steps which you will follow. And by following this, you will be, I could say, setting up a common set of assessment criteria for your firm. So the person who you will be assigning this needs to be someone who has knowledge or great understanding of your practice, who will be doing this. So yeah, I will be taking you through all of this. So this will be just this will, we could say, form part of how employees will react and respond to different risks, what objectives you will be having, and all of that. So as we now start, we'll start under setup. So under setup, this is where you'll be selecting the applicable standards that are applicable for your firm. Just to show you, we have different standards or countries which are already pre-populated for your Canada, your Belgium, your Greece. But for the purpose of this demo, I'll just leave it to international. For us on the African continent, we subscribe to this, and I'll just leave the South African one there. So this just the selection of the standards that are applicable to you. There isn't really much. As you can see here, it will show you the probabilities and the effects. So you'll see the probability of this happening, what effects will it have. It also has the risk threshold, which refers to how we will be responding to a risk whenever we come across a different risk. Will we do nothing when the response required is low? Will we apply judgment? What will we be doing? How will we be responding to the different risks? All of this will form, as I said, part of how you manage your risk, how you approach them. Yeah, so now this was under the setup, and after setup, the next step, we now move to understanding. So under understanding, this is where we will be telling the system who we are. So who we are, what kind of business do we do, what kind of practice are we, the clients we serve. As you can see, the questions that you see here, the system is already telling you this is the firm's understanding. So we can identify conditions and events, circumstances that may affect the quality of our engagements. So this is just showing you, does my firm offer any specialized services? Do we have centralized administrative functions? The legal structure of our firm, all of that. So how many of, so here you're just basically telling the system more on you, on your practice. That's what you will be doing. And then based on the information that you have inputted here, the system will now remove any information that is, or any standards that are not applicable, to you or to your practice. Once you have inputted all of this information that I was telling you about your practice, you will then now move to the conclusion where you sign off and say, I have reviewed and agree that all these objectives and risks are completed. There are a number of them that you need to complete. I won't go through all of them, but this is just showing you that there are objectives that you, at a given understanding of your practice that you need to input into the system so that the system can also assist you by removing all those standards that are not applicable to your particular practice. This is, I could say, great, as it now moves you away from having a book with a whole lot number of pages, and every time you have to go through all of those pages. With this, it will now just summarize it to what is specific for your practice. And yeah, as Jackie has said, please, we'll have a Q&A, but in the meantime, as I do go through all of this, just so you do not forget, you can jot down your questions in the chat box, and then we'll attend to them during the Q&A. Then once you've inputted the understanding of your business, we'll now be moving to the objectives. So yeah, on the objectives, this goes from what you've inputted under understanding. So this now here will now tell you what is mandatory for your particular practice. So yeah, this will now tell you which objectives are mandatory for your practice based on the information that you have added when you are doing your understandings. And then should there be any objectives that you deem that they don't fall part of these mandatory objectives that the system automatically generated for you, you are able to now come onto this plus icon here and add any objectives that you feel the system didn't put in for you, but this is an objective, this is a firm specific objective for your practice. And then once you have inputted all of the information for this objective, how it will reflect under your objectives, instead of being written mandatory, it will be written, it will be labeled as firm objectives. It will be inputted as firm objectives instead of mandatory. It will be inputted as firm. So this shows that this is your particular firm objective that you have inputted into the system. And then once you are done with your objectives and you have inputted all the objectives and went through some of these that are mandatory for you, you'll now move on to your risks. So here you need to, what do we say? We need to create risks which will be linked to the objectives that have been set here. I mean, we all do understand what risks are, how they impact your engagements. For just, for demonstration purposes, we can talk about risks which are risks such as, what can we say? Such as your money laundering. How will you now do this? How will you how will you mitigate this particular risk? So this just tells you, for instance, your HR for SQM, what risk is there? Leadership does not make human resources available to design, implement, and operate the system of quality management, and then it now tells you of the risk. Just 1 second. Then the risk assessment results. Then this just shows you the variety of the risk. Is it low? Is it high? So these are just some of the risks that one can see. And again, just like with your objectives, you are able to add risks. You are able to add risks, and we do have a library of risks which you can go through and select. And as you can see, it shows you the applicable standards for the particular risks and the objective which this particular risk links to. So you are able to do that, and you are able to select and add a risk which gets linked to a particular objective. And yeah, you are able to do that. So I was just showing you this for demonstration purposes. And yeah, as you do, you are able to tell, okay, what risk is this? What objectives is linked to this risk? And you are able to give more information on this, additional description, and then you are able to also just select which standard it applies to based on the standard you have selected earlier on during your setup. So this is just your risks that I just wanted to show you. You are able to add other risks apart from the one that apart from the one that the system has generated itself. From there, we'll now move, after risks, we'll move to policy and responses. I don't know if everyone is following with me to see how everything that you do in the previous step will link to the next step of designing your SQM. So under policy responses, this will now, I'll just talk over it through policy and procedures. So under here, this will show you which policies and procedures are mandatory based on the objectives and the risks that you have indicated earlier on. So yeah, here this will show you this policy was created by this shows a colleague of mine, Annelie. When did they do it? On the 4th of November in 2022. So this goes back to the audit trail that I mentioned earlier. So these are policies that are specific for you based on what you have inputted on the previous steps. So I'm just showing you some of the policies where the system has declared this as mandatory as well, which you can go through. And again, just like with the others, if you feel there's a policy response that is missing, you are able to add it onto the software. We have a library, as I did mention, of policy procedures, which you can look at. For when you are doing your policies and procedures, what to add, where, and what not. So I don't know if, so for the purpose of this demonstration, I will not be going into a lot of these, but just showing you how easy and efficient it is to create to design your own set of quality management systems, how easy it is on our cloud-based system. And then we move on to procedures as well. These are the procedures that you need to follow based on the policy responses that you have inputted for the different risks and objectives. So yeah, once you have prepared this, it will give you an option to sign off. But where you see that it's giving you this, it tells you when you hover over it that the requirements to prepare this are not met, and you are able to go see what exactly does this mean, what didn't I do here for this particular procedure that I need to what's this to do in order for me to sign off. I mean, after every procedural response, you need to say, okay, I have completed this, and these are the reasons, but you are able to come and edit, where the system will show you what exactly it is that you need to do, which you haven't done. If I were to just hover over this, it tells me that the nature is required as well as the timing is required. So these are what I need to input in order for me to be able to sign off this procedure. As you can see here under the nature, it tells you, consider the nature of your response. For example, is it preventative, detective, or a combination? Would you use a manual process? Would you use technology? Do you require any additional resources to implement this response? So it tells you what you need, or what this is about that is preventing you from signing this off. Then once you have completed that, and you once you have completed that, it will give you an option to sign it off. Same way Rudy Stayman has signed this one off. It will give you an option to sign this off. I've just signed this one off, and you can see it says Phuti signed this off on the 16th of August 2023. Again, this goes back to the audit trail that this leaves behind. And then when we move to tasks, so here, one might just, what is tasks? Tasks, so these are documents that states what must be done when you are encountered with a risk. So it just tells you what do you need to do, and when you encounter a risk. For instance, your gifts and other inducements. This is the task that needs to be completed when you come across such. So it tells you that a form needs to be completed by each staff member whenever you are receiving or offering gifts or other inducements to your clients or whatnot. So this task shows you or tells you this is what you need to do whenever you encounter this particular the risk. As others, you are also able to add a task from our tasks library. We do have a whole number of tasks. As you can see, we do have how to report money laundering. So if a particular, say a junior comes across money laundering activities, what do they need to do when they come across all of this? This will tell you that a form needs to be completed when money, but you can edit it to meet your firm specific procedures when you get faced with such a risk, and you'll link it to the different procedures that needs to to be followed when filling in that form and all of that. So you're able to say from when is this effective up until when, and all of that. So you are able to do all that. So yeah, tasks, it just tells you this is what you need to do when you encounter this particular risk, and then you attach this to the engagement that you are working on. And then once all of these tasks above have been done, you'll now review your draft, the draft of your SQM, which if there's any errors like you see here, then you will need to fix them and approve. You need to fix, approve, sign off where you need to sign off. And then once you are done, you will publish your SQM, or you can even export it into Excel. The choice is yours, but yeah, publish, you will publish. Then once you've published, you can then export it if you want to export. Once you are done with all of this, what will now happen is it will move the entire process that you are doing here onto the operate part. So this is where the whole firm will, what can I say? This is where the whole firm will access the published SQM, which they will read and see what are our objectives, our policies, our procedures, the tasks that we need to follow whenever we come across certain risks. So we can also come here to just see who is responsible for what in the practice, the published responsibilities. This one, ultimate responsible, operational responsible, the person who will be responsible for monitoring and also any remedies, and then this person will be, so it just tells you who is responsible for what, so you know where to go, or so that your staff members know where to go whenever they have encountered a certain issue. And under tasks, what you can do, or what this particular part is there for, is you can it is to assign tasks to let's say your junior staff members. This is where you can assign them tasks of what to do whenever they encounter a certain risks based on that client that you are working on. I mean, you guys know your clients, you know the patterns that you have seen with different clients, and yeah, this is where you'll now assign the tasks to your juniors, but this is also where you will keep track of the tasks that you have assigned to see the status of the task that you've assigned. It will show you the date which you have created it, the last date which it was modified, and the actions that have been taken or that need to be taken. So this is just also a nice area for you to keep track of what you have assigned to your staff members. And the findings, this is where also your staff members will come and tell you that this is what I found when I was working on this particular client. This is what I discovered when I was doing this particular engagement for this client. So it's self-explanatory. This is where you will have an overview of your findings. And then here, this is where I don't have any tasks open. Okay, this is where you also have a overview of your operational tasks and whatnot. It tells you who was this assigned to, what is the status? Is it submitted? Is it in progress? What is the status of it? When was the task created? When was it last updated? Here where you can see that it says the checkbox that says true. This person did indeed sign off the task which was allocated to them. If someone had declined, it would have said false. And yeah, so this just shows you, and you can have a nice overview where if you want to see 10 at a time, if you want to see 25 at a time, where you are now able to see what the tasks that you have assigned also. This is now a firm-wide overview of the operations for your practice. And then lastly, this is where it tells you this is where you'll be monitoring the activities that are undertaken by your staff members or for your practice. Tells you which activities are mandatory, and then the programs that you have in place. Also, the findings that your staff members come with, the actions that needs to be done. You are able to pull out reports of all these different activities by by objectives. You can pull them out by risk, by policies. So you are able to pull out a report to see which tasks have been completed, how long did it take to complete this task, which task needs to be completed. You can also go filter under tasks by the particular staff member's name to see how is Jackie tracking on her tasks and so forth. Unfortunately, on my side, I do not have the monitor option. I mean, the evaluate option, but this is where you'll just be evaluating your entire systems that you have designed for your quality management. So I will be handing back to my colleagues, and they will now go through all the questions that you guys might have regarding this SQM or the presentation that I have shared with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Phuti, for a very detailed and enlightening presentation. I would like to open up to the audience if there are any questions and answers which the team can take. Thank you. Do we have any raised hands, Malike?
We have a question in the question panel, if you can have a look at that. Okay, I'll just read it out.
I'm not able to see the question actually from my end. Could be how I'm set up as a guest.
No problem. The question is, have any firms using this had regulatory reviews and any feedback from those?
Okay, thank you for the question. With the Zimbabwean market, this is a recent launch, and we are currently in the process of engaging firms that actually want to take on the product, our existing client base. So I would like Fezeka and possibly Phuti to bring insights from other markets, which they could possibly share with the meeting.
Good morning, everyone. So with regards to reviews, on our end, what we can do is, as part of when we share the recording and the additional information, we can forward or relay in terms of the feedback, some of the firms that were assessed, what feedback that they received, because it varies, because SQM is very firm specific as well, because the types of risks each firm has differs from one firm to another. So the feedback might also be quite unique for a particular firm. For example, for a larger firm, a higher risk might be how the information is received. For a smaller firm, maybe the risk is with, you'll have a different risk. So there's no stock standard response from the regulator due to the individuality of the firm. I hope that I have been able to answer your question. But over and above that, we will share some insights when we do share the recording with additional information. Thank you. From Caseware, thank you so much for your attendance, and thank you so much, Jackie, and thank you, Phuti, for the wonderful demonstration. As I had highlighted earlier, is that we will share additional content and additional content over and above this recording in terms of how SQM works and how it can benefit your firm. And it is absolutely user-friendly. And you'll find that you'll gain so much of value from implementing your SQM and ensuring that you are compliant with the IASB requirements, so that you then are set up as a firm of the future. We thank you so much for your attendance, and we will most definitely share the additional information for you to peruse. And then you can liaise with July28 in terms of how you can acquire the software, or rather this module for your firm, so that you can attain your compliance status. And thank you once again to ICAZ for collaborating with us for this demonstration. And should there be any follow-up questions, we will most definitely be open to respond to those queries. And thank you, and have a wonderful day further.
Thank you all. Cheers.